What is up, bros and broettes? I'm Slasher, and today we are going to be answering the question, how good is the broccoli gun? Now, the broccoli gun is a semi-automatic shotgun with a pretty large clip. Now, this gun is known for its spammy nature, and what I mean by that is that with this weapon, you rarely ever need to aim down sights with it, and this brings up the question whether or not this weapon is overpowered. And throughout this video, we are going to be answering the questions like, what are the stats of this gun? What's the best class setup? Is it overpowered? And in the end, how exactly good is it? Now, this is a weapon that I haven't used a shit ton until recently, and let me tell you, I honestly think using this gun has raised my kill death, but the stats don't support it, and that's what's going to be amazing about this video, is the stats on this weapon really aren't that amazing, but for some reason, I just own with this weapon, and we're going to be talking about whether it's the weapon or me, or we're going to talk about all of that, but without further ado, let's answer the question, how good is the Brecci? So the first thing we're going to talk about is the stats for the 205 Brecci. Now, this weapon, like I said earlier, is a semi-automatic shotgun, and with this it has a pretty low damage profile. In fact, one of the lowest out of all the shotguns. This is very comparable with the Haymaker, but a little bit better as the Haymaker, as we're going to see throughout this video. Now, this weapon actually has a 2 to a 3 bullet damage profile. You are never going to be able to get a 1 bullet kill, unless, obviously, the enemy is already damaged. How does this work? Well, with this weapon, the most damage your weapon can do is 50 damage. Now, that seems really low, but there's also a pellet damage. So you shoot a total of 8 pellets, and every pellet can deal up to 2 damage. So what this means is the most amount of damage, if you hit every single pellet out of a shot, up close and personal, you are going to deal 66 damage. I.e., it's impossible, absolutely impossible to get a 1 bullet kill. So you're always going to be looking at a 2 or a 3 bullet kill. But this is alright. As we're going to find out, this is very, very alright, because with this weapon, you never want to be aiming down sights. All you're going for is pellet impact. All you need is 1 pellet out of 8 to hit that person to be able to drop them in 2 to 3 bullets, which is actually amazing. You can be incredibly inaccurate and still make it so you do extremely well with this gun. Now, with this, the reason why this is okay comes down to the fire rate. Now, the fire rate of this weapon is actually 187 RPM, and I know that it seems extremely low, but you gotta remember, this is a shotgun, a semi-automatic shotgun, so what does this mean? Every time you pull the trigger, you are going to be firing. Now, you can fire at 187 RPM, and like I said, that seems very low. However, if we compare it to the KRM or the Argus, both of them have about a 60 RPM. That means the Brecci is 3 times as fast firing than both of those weapons. And when you take that into account, you start to realize how powerful this weapon can actually be. Now, it's never going to compare properly as far as time to kill goes, because with the KRM and with the Argus, it's actually possible to get a 1-hit kill. And what that means with those weapons is that the time to kill is actually 0, because as soon as you pull that trigger, that person is dead. Whereas this weapon, you're always trying to land more and more pellets on that target, so it's going to have seemingly an extremely low time to kill, but it ends up working out incredibly well for you. As I said earlier in this video, the stats on this weapon aren't going to seem really good, and even if we look at the nitty-gritty stats, one of them being like the magazine size, for example. The magazine size is 12 rounds and 17 if you're using an extended mag. Now, the 12 magazine size does seem a little bit larger for a shotgun, but the Haymaker is still larger. It's kind of like right in the middle. The Argus has a 10-round magazine size, this one has a 12-round magazine size, but overall, not amazing stats. If it had like 20 rounds, I could see you saying that that's amazing, but if we continue on, keeping on looking at those nitty-gritty stats, another one we can look at is aim down sights time. Now, the aim down sights time is actually the worst in class for this weapon at 0.25 seconds. Now, the reason why this stat doesn't matter, you are never needed to aim down sights with the Brecci. In fact, I highly recommend you never aim down sights with the broccoli gun. The broccoli gun, you never need to aim down sights. There's no point of having sights, because all you need to do with this weapon is land 1 pellet of every bullet on target, and that's going to be your best way of killing people. I mean, you can kill people a little bit faster if you land all the pellets, but there really is no need to. It's not going to improve your time to kill by a huge amount. Continuing on, if we look at hip spread, the hip spread is exactly the same as the KRM and exactly the same as the Haymaker at 4 inches at a minimum and 5 inches at a maximum. Now, the Argus is actually much smaller than that, almost half the size of that. So, again, another stat that really really isn't that amazing. Now, another stat we can look at is the view kick. And again, view kick really doesn't matter because you're never aiming down sights with this weapon. And finally, the last thing we can look at is actually the reload speed. Now, we're not going to compare this to the KRM because with the KRM, you reload one bullet at a time. But guess what? The reload speed is actually the worst in the entire class because the reload speed is 2.4 seconds. What this means is that you have the slowest reload speed out of any of the shotguns with the Brecci. So like I said, these stats are not amazing. So why do people say this weapon is overpowered? Because I've heard it time and time again. People who use this weapon are pussies. You're a bitch if you use the broccoli gun. Why is it called the broccoli gun? I'm hungry, let's go eat some broccoli. I've heard all of these things in the comment section before. Why are they said? And the answer is so simple. This weapon is absurdly easy to use. And in fact, if you get into a gunfight with the KRM or the Argus or the KRM should win every single time because like I said, that damage profile makes it so that they can get a one bullet kill and you never can. So you have to pull that trigger multiple times, they have to pull it once. But if they miss that shot, you are at this massive advantage where you don't have to have accurate aim because you never ever have to aim down sights with this weapon. So it makes it so simplistic to use that all you gotta do is just spam that trigger, and if you just happen to hit one pellet, the maximum of 3 times, that person you're shooting at is going to kill. This gun is overpowered. This gun is overpowered because the worst player in the world could just press the trigger and manage to get massive amounts of kills. If you're watching this gameplay here right now, I go off in this gameplay. I get a 10 kill death ratio. I was playing horrible that night until this game. As soon as I started playing this game, I just went off, and it was because this weapon is so easy to use. And in fact, I couldn't believe how easy it was to use. Because like I said, I've barely used this weapon, and the fact that I can just pick it up, a weapon I've never used before, don't have to get used to it, and just drop people like this, that's not fair. And the fact that it can kill so many people so easily, and that's the key there, so easily, is what makes it overpowered. You have to have no skill with this weapon, where if we look at a weapon like the Locust or the SVG, any of the sniper rifles that don't have any aim assist, that take a one bullet to kill someone, but you gotta be on target, that's not even fair giving someone a gun that they can just pull the trigger 3 times and poof, they're dead. It's almost like having wall hacks, it seems like sometimes, because again, no aim down sights, no skill is required for this weapon at all. The only thing you need to do is properly navigate a map, and that is the thing that makes this weapon from an amazingly OP weapon to a just retardedly good weapon. If you put this weapon in someone's hands who can properly navigate a map and only get in short range gunfights, they're going to dominate the other team, and that's what you're seeing here. I navigated the map in a way in this gameplay where I'm only in short range, and it's so easy to kill people. Now, the thing that really makes this overpowered, I know I've said overpowered a lot, but the thing that really makes this overpowered is you really don't even need any attachments on this weapon. I prefer to use fast mags and extended mags just because that improves the amount I can shoot and also how fast I can keep shooting at people because of those fast mags. You don't need a laser sight because all a laser sight does is bring those pellets closer together. When you use a laser sight, you're not going to have that awesome ability to just spam, because like I said earlier, all you really need is that one pellet to hit of every shot to make it so that you're going to kill the person quickly. You don't need every pellet to hit, so there's no point in using laser sight. There's no point in using any sort of sights whatsoever. No red dot, no ELO, because why? We're never aiming down sights. So that also removes grip, quick draw, any attachment that has to do with aiming down sights is just not needed. So what's the best class setup? I like to use extended mags, fast mags, and then whatever perk setup you find best. And it kind of depends on the game mode and all of that stuff. I like to use Ghost, Sixth Sense, Blast Suppressor, and then I load up on like Frag Grenade and then like 2 flashes or something like that. But the thing with this one is it's so freeing to use this weapon because you can kind of use whatever class you want, whereas if you look at a weapon like something like the XR2, I gotta use like a red dot sight, I like to use a grip, I like to use a quick draw grip, and then also I like to use sometimes like a stock or something like that, and that just like takes up your entire class, so you can use less perks, less flash bangs, all of that stuff. That is another reason why this weapon is overpowered. So how good is this weapon? This weapon is like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 because it is just too easy to use, and I can't stress that enough. It's just easy. If you are a bad Call of Duty player, and you know who you are, like, I'm not trying to call you out or anything, but if you're not great at this game, give this weapon a shot. I bet you it improves your kill death. I bet you go even in a lot of games. I bet you sometimes drop that 2 kill death if you're like a 0.5 kill death player. It is so easy to use, and I almost didn't want to make this video because I didn't want to give this gun too much credit so everyone starts using it. But I really think this weapon needs to be patched. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. If you've made it this far in the video, hit me up with a like rating. It really, really does help out the channel. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. I upload new Call of Duty videos every single day of the week. I've had enough broccoli for today, so thanks for watching, and until next time, peace out.